Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. I'm happy to have you. And you like the video today, make sure you like the video and make sure you subscribe so you never miss any content with Pamela again. Let's get started. So you might not see the dog right now, but I'm sure you can hear his toy. So today we are going to talk about reasons why you might not be losing fat. I know how frustrating it can be when you feel like you're putting in the effort, you're doing your exercise and you are restricting calories and you just stop making progress. So let's talk about some of the reasons why that might be. Hi, Gunner. My baby. Okay, you're not helping. You aren't helping, but you're cute. So reason number one why you might not be losing fat is because you are underestimating how many calories you are actually eating. So if you're not already tracking your calories on an app like MyFitnessPal, or I think it's called Lose It, then you might be eating nutritious foods, but you might be eating too many calories of them. For example, I love bananas, and they are a fruit and they are full of fiber and potassium and other great micronutrients that you need. Although it's great to fit fruits like bananas into your diet, if you're eating like 5 of them a day, or you're making smoothies with a bunch of fruit in them like banana and pineapple and other high calorie fruits, you might be eating more calories and more grams of sugar than you realize. Although I don't recommend it for everyone, if you feel like you have a pretty strong mindset when it comes to counting calories and numbers, then I do recommend just tracking your calories on an app like MyFitnessPal for a couple days just to get an idea of how much you're actually eating. I don't recommend cutting your calories too aggressively. I would say if you're not losing any fat or weight anymore, you're kind of stalled, track your calories, see where you're at, and then cut your calories by 100 calories. See if you start making any more progress. I don't recommend cutting it by another 500 calories because you want to be eating as many calories as possible while losing weight or fat. Cutting them aggressively can mess with your metabolism, which will hinder your fat loss efforts either a couple weeks down the road or a couple years down the road. Number 2, and this one is pretty frustrating, but it could be genetics. If your family tends to store their body fat more in their belly, you might have a harder time losing belly fat because it's a genetic thing. In the first place, I gain weight. I guess I should say I gain it pretty evenly, but a majority of my fat is stored in my lower half of the body. So basically from my lower belly down, and everything above that tones faster, loses fat faster. If your family is a little bit, bigger structured, or they have a harder time losing weight, that might contribute to why you're stalling. But that does not mean that you can't get past the plateau you are. It just might take a little bit longer and a little more effort than it does for some people, and that is frustrating, but it is definitely a factor that could be affecting you. Another reason why you might not be losing fat is because you're eating healthy meals at fast food restaurants or dine-in restaurants or carry out. If you're buying salads in particular from restaurants, a lot of those salads are way higher calorie and higher in fat than you would realize. Dressings are full of fat and some crazy ingredients, and it seems like the healthy choice, but sometimes the salads are higher calorie than the burgers. So just be mindful of that. Try to make an effort to make more meals at home. Salads can be very simple. If you follow me on Instagram, I am constantly posting my salads, and there's a lot of variety. A lot of the salads you see at fast food restaurants, you can easily make at home. Another reason why you might not be losing fat is because you have cheat meals, but your cheat meals turn into cheat weekends. So think about it. If you're considering the weekend Friday, Saturday, Sunday, that's almost half the week. You don't really stop to think about it because you think the weekend's so short. But if you are eating in a calorie surplus with a lot of fat and carbs 2 or 3 of those days of the week, you're really doing a number on your fat loss efforts. That's a lot of time and a lot of meals to be in a calorie surplus. You might have knocked out all the progress you made throughout the week. I don't love the concept of cheat meals. I used to follow that, but more so now, I think it is better to have more of a balance throughout the week so you don't feel the need to have this big cheat meal on the weekend or whatever day you choose to do it. I think keeping it balanced throughout the week while maintaining that calorie deficit is much easier to sustain long term. Another reason is that you might need to prioritize protein and fiber a little bit more into your diet. So protein and fiber are both necessary for the body to function properly and for you to feel good. Protein and fiber in particular fill you up, and therefore you're not as hungry all the time. So sources of protein can be things like lean meat, tofu, beans, quinoa. They're easily put into the diet. Even if you are like a vegetarian or a vegan, there's no excuse not to be able to put a little bit more protein into your diet. So if you are counting your macros or your calories in an app like MyFitnessPal, that's pretty easy to track. If you input your food, it'll tell you how many grams of protein and fiber you're eating. Some of the foods that have fiber are basically all fruits and vegetables, so definitely incorporate those into your diet. And of course, fruits and vegetables are high in antioxidants and micronutrients, so they should be part of your diet anyways. Another reason, if you are exercising already, maybe it's time to switch up what you're doing in the gym or at home. If you are like a cardio bunny and you're on the elliptical all the time, or you're on the treadmill or the bike all the time, maybe it's time to do some weightlifting, or maybe do some sort of resistance training. Or if you want to stick to cardio, maybe it's time to introduce HIIT, or high intensity interval training. So things like getting on the treadmill and sprinting for 30 seconds and then walking for 30 seconds and doing that 10 times. That really helps rev up your metabolism, and it can help build muscle in your legs. If you are starting from 0, you can start by just taking walks or doing some yoga or doing some Pilates. Another reason, age. It is natural as you age to start losing some muscle and to start gaining a little bit of body fat. And gaining a little bit of body fat as you get older is not necessarily a bad thing, but if you don't want to gain an abundance of fat, more than you need to, then incorporate exercise into your life. Especially as you get older, I think it would be good, obviously, to do a little bit of cardio to maintain your cardiovascular health, but to start lifting weights in order to maintain the muscle you have and even gain the muscle. If your doctor does not recommend that you get your heart rate going too much, then there's no reason not to incorporate some sort of light weightlifting or other forms of resistance training. Another reason, and we all deal with it, but stress. So stress raises a hormone called cortisol. It's called the stress hormone, and cortisol makes it hard to lose fat. So a lot of people with stress, they either lose their appetite or their appetite is revved up, and therefore you're eating more. If you're dealing with chronic stress, is to prioritize sleep. Do whatever you need to do to get better sleep. Do something relaxing. Read a book. Start journaling. Do some deep breathing or muscle relaxation. Do what you can to get a full night of sleep, as much as you can throughout the week. Another reason is that you're exercising to burn calories. So in particular, if you are using cardio machines like the elliptical bike, treadmill, stair climber, and you are shooting for a certain amount of calories burned, a lot of the calorie counters are not very accurate. They're estimates, but if you're shooting to burn, let's say 300 calories a session while you're on the treadmill, that might not be accurate. You might be burning 200 calories. So if you're basing your diet on how much you're burning in the gym, you might be eating too much. You might still be at a calorie maintenance level or a calorie surplus level. So try to go by another measure instead of calories burned. And finally, maybe you've just hit a plateau, which happens, especially if you started really aggressive. So let's say you immediately, when you started, cut 500 calories, you started going to the gym for an hour a day, 5-6 days a week, and you weren't already doing that. Your metabolism does slow down as you lose weight, which seems pretty backwards, but it does. And therefore, after a while, it gets a little harder to keep losing weight because your body is resisting it. A lot of times your body doesn't want to lose weight, especially if you're in a normal range. Your body wants to hold on to what it has, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when we have aesthetic goals, it can get frustrating because you want to be eating the most amount of calories you can while still losing weight. You don't want to jump from eating 2,100 calories a day and drop it down to 1,500 calories. And if you're eating at 2,100 calories a day, drop it to 2,000 or 1,900. So if you get to a place where you have plateaued, perhaps it's time to drop it by another 100 calories, just a little bit, and then see how that works the next week. Or if you've been dieting for, let's say, an extended period of time, like 8 weeks, and you're at a plateau, then maybe you need to take a week off. Take a week off, eat at maintenance level, and almost restart your metabolism. Not restart, but almost give your body the message that, okay, I'm not gonna deprive you. You're safe, you're getting food, and you're fine. That way, when you go back the week after, your body's ready to go into a burning phase again. But also with a plateau, you might not actually be at a plateau. Like I said earlier, if you start getting into a normal weight range, your body's gonna wanna hold on to weight a little bit more to maintain what it has. It might just be a slower process going forward. You're not gonna be dropping fat and weight as fast as you were because you're getting into a normal weight range or a healthy weight range where your body naturally wants to be. You might be at the same weight for a week, but your body might be ready to lose weight the next week. As long as you're maintaining that same routine, try to maintain it if you're at a plateau for another week or maybe even 2 weeks and see if your body is just taking a little break from dropping the fat. Stay consistent for about 1 to 2 weeks and see if you start making progress again before you start cutting calories again. So I hope the content today was helpful. I know that I wish I knew some of this before I started my fat loss journey a couple years ago. And these are just things that I've studied and I learned through my coaching program and that I've experienced. If you like the content today and you want to see more content like this, make sure to like and subscribe. I would be happy to have you in my posse. We can be pals and, love life together, Bye.